Welcome to our subject webinar, which is about study business informatics in Germany. I'm happy to be part of this session. I will start so that more people can have time to join, and I'm sure will join. Before that, they will not miss lots of interesting things because I will be just introducing some Zoom rules and a short overview of today's session. If you don't know me yet, my name is Nino. I come from Georgia, and today I will be moderating this session, which is like mainly answering or checking your questions in Q&A box and also sharing some links in chat. Right now, probably you see that the chat is disabled for you. However, it's not like this fully because you will be still be able to see the links that I will be sharing, some information, probably info email. So keep an eye on chat. You are very welcome to open those links during the webinar after that as well, so that you have access to all the information. Now, how we interact is via Q&A box. So you see that luckily we have 3 guests today, and we will have therefore 3 different program presentations. So that you receive the best possible answer, please mention at least the university or better the study program to which your question is referred to. Therefore, I can also more correctly coordinate your questions, and then you receive the best possible answer. I forgot to disable raise your hand function, which somebody already used, but now you cannot use. So we will be checking all your questions in Q&A box, so please use it there. The Q&A is open from the very beginning until the very end. In case you have general questions, I'm happy to answer them in written form, or if something really important pops up, we can also discuss it during the live Q&A. All right, having said this, I would like to share my screen to briefly introduce who is behind today's webinar, what is today's agenda, and yeah, from which universities we have guessed what are the study programs. But I really hope that you already know this in advance as you received your invitation emails, and kind of quick facts about the programs were already provided there. Here you see today's agenda, 2 different universities, 3 different programs. We have both bachelor and master level, which is really great. All professors will be introduced also separately. Therefore, let me say who will introduce them and like who is today's behind today's webinar. This is my German University, Germany's largest database of English to study programs. And this means that if you want to study in English fully or partially in Germany, then you can probably use our study finder for this purpose to just filter for study programs. On the screen right now, you see the small expert of our small part of our study finder, but if you just go on a main page, and I will also share the link, you have much more filters there. Therefore, it will save your time and energy to find potentially your future study program in Germany. We also have really comprehensive, interesting articles written by internationals who have gone through the way of studying in Germany. Therefore, it's more than just collection of information. Therefore, I will encourage you to have a look at these articles. And of course, they are free of charge, so it's really nice. And of course, we try to communicate with you in a way. And one of the ways is our webinars. You attend one big group of webinars now, which is a subject webinar. We also have general webinars when we talk about generally about scholarship, UniAssist, visa, studying in Germany, etc. And the next general webinar will be 21st of May, talking about scholarships. So I frequently receive questions about what are the scholarship options, etc., etc. You can have a look at our article, but if you also want to have your questions answered about this topic, feel free to join us on 21st of May. And of course, subject webinars, which is, I don't know, I have attended only a few such kind of webinars from different countries, but it's really rare that professors find time just to also answer your questions live, present study programs. So I really appreciate your time, and I am very thankful for that you joined us today. When I was applying, such kind of thing didn't exist. Otherwise, I would have bombed my future professor with different questions. So thank you very much. I will also thank you later on, but I always use the option to really express my gratitude for this. And of course, our team, which is very international, the company itself is based in Hamburg, Germany. However, we come from different parts of the world. And of course, Germany unites us in a sense that we have lived or studied here. And then we are willing to share our experience, even tips, because I frequently shared visa tips with students as I have gone through the situation with you. And yeah, I think it's also really nice. All right. Now, if you have decided that you want to study business informatics in Germany, you can also check it in our study finder. We have even a special filter for that. So if you go under subject, you have business informatics, and there you can see 16 degree programs. We even have a breakdown for you, 3 bachelor, 13 master, and English only option means that like German skills are not required, but I'm sure all professors will encourage you to improve or learn German while you stay in Germany. Even if it's not perfect, it will be still appreciated. If you don't know if you want to study business informatics or not, and you are just want to know what this field is more about, of course, you will learn today in today's webinar, but we also have subject pages for that, where you have kind of overview of universities that have these programs, general application and admission. And I would like to emphasize that this is general requirements, because each study program, you already probably know that each program is different. They have their own requirements, be it about GPA, language, etc., etc. Therefore, here you see just general information. And of course, the overview of the subject itself. Now about ranking. Yeah, you can also take a look at international rankings, but also it's nice to not be guided only by singular criteria, for example, by fees, rankings, names, because your study experience is a collection of all of that, and you should also decide what's most important for you. It could be like the ranking could be based even on a professor who is teaching in a program whose lectures you want to attend. Now about university landscape in Germany. There are kind of 2 big groups, which is called university or technical universities and University of Applied Science. If you want to know more about that, check out our article. But briefly saying, what's the main difference is that on focus, so universities are more research and theory oriented. Universities of Applied Science are more application or practice oriented. But today we have more competent people to talk about it. In case you have questions, you are welcome to ask it. And now I said that you can use our study finder to filter the programs, and I showed you filtering by subject. Some students also like to filter by program name. So you would write right away business informatics, and only probably 2 programs will appear, because not all programs are named Bachelor in Business Informatics or Bachelor in Business Informatics. So we advise you to either filter with subject, or if you want to filter by program names, with anything but the same program Professor Dr. Peter Weber, who some facts about the study program. On the right side, you can locate your future universities. Then I will stop my screen share and to Professor.
Thank you so much, Nino, for the introduction. There were some interruptions on my side. I hope it's not my connection, your connection. All right, good. I'll do my best to introduce the study program. Hi, everyone. It's a great pleasure you're here. Unfortunately, we cannot see you. You can only see us. But it's great to know you're here, and it's great to know that you're interested in studying business informatics in Germany. I think in today's world, it's a very smart choice to go for a program in this direction, and I hope my colleagues agree. So let me share my screen and introduce the program. Oops, sorry, that's the wrong. Where is it? Now it should work. So it's not called Business Informatics. And in comparison to other programs which are really entitled Business Informatics, maybe this program is a bit more on the management side and the application-oriented side. Okay, Nino introduced you to the difference between universities and universities of applied sciences. South Westphalia University of Applied Sciences is a university of applied science. So we are really looking at the application of the knowledge. But I think since the introduction of bachelor and master degrees, this difference has become a bit blurry, especially for foreign students. So let me introduce the program to you. Today I'm introducing International Management and Information Systems Online. And that is a part-time degree course for professionals. Okay, I hope you noticed that when informing you about the study course. So this program is for people on the job. And it's designed for these people in the way that we chose the coding content on the one hand, and on the other hand, designed the curriculum and also our mode of teaching in a way that you can combine it with your work. Okay, so that's the idea. It's a rather young program. It started in 2019, so we had 5 intakes so far, which means we have some experience, but it is, in comparison to other programs, still rather young. We have a special IMIS office, IMIS online office. So in case you have any remaining questions after this info session and you cannot find the information also on the My German University page, then please feel free to get in touch with Ms. Jennifer Beckmann using this email address, which is also, of course, available on the My German University website. And I think they also provide channels for you to get in touch with us. So this program is for professionals, which means that we also need to take some tuition fees. So this is not a tuition fee program, it's for people on the job. And usually what happens is that the companies send also their employees to this program for further education reasons, okay? And they then cover these costs. It is a 90 credit program and it has a duration of 2 years. If you're familiar with the credit system in Germany and Europe, then you might notice that usually 90 credit programs are arranged in 1.5 years. But this one is stretched a little to 2 years, as we are aware that people are working and working full-time, and therefore we can only go through classes in the evening, and they might take a little more time to accomplish all the modules that we have included in the curriculum. The idea behind the program is to combine information technology topics with management topics. So in comparison to, for example, business administration degrees, really the focus of the business classes is on management topics. And we do combine these topics in the way that we look at how information technology supports management. So supports really the more professional, more international, more automated management, better data analysis, and topics like these. But on the other hand, if you have companies really relying on the power of information technology, then of course this information technology needs to be managed also in a professional manner. So on the other hand, we have a second line of content which is addressing really how IT can enable business models and how IT needs to be managed in a professional manner. The program starts in the winter semester. So the deadline to apply for this program will be end of July. Okay, and at the end of the presentation, I will show you that there's basically 2 different paths to apply for this program, depending on whether you are from the European Union, any country from the European Union, or from any other international country. We have some core characteristics for this program. It's on the one hand, it's e-learning design or blended learning design, which is mostly relying on e-learning and online education. Then I already mentioned the practice-oriented approach and this combination of study and work at the same time. So let me go through a couple elements, but before, let me just mention our university real quick so that you know that we have some experience with teaching English language programs. It's a completely English language study course. And in fact, at our location, our university has 5 locations, as you can see, but at our location in Soest, at the faculty, the department where I'm teaching, we have 4 completely English language study process with hundreds of students. So we've been teaching these for years, and that is something that is not that common in Germany. You will find a lot of programs which have some English content, but often it's combinations or it's very, very young programs. And here we have really completely English language study programs for years, with like 1,500 foreign students currently studying at our university from around 100 nations. It's a public state-funded university, which is also interesting to know. I think you are aware that in Germany, the state-funded university system is a very strong system. Let's look into the structure of our IMIS online program. I mentioned that it's mainly based on distance education. You don't have to travel to Germany for this program. Okay, so no matter where you are, you can join us online, and therefore we designed the program in the way that it's almost all the time online studies, except for 2 sessions in Soest. And that's an onboarding week at the very beginning of the program. So for 1 week, you join us in Soest to get to know your colleagues, your fellow students, also the other professors, and to directly dive into the topics, but also get to know the environment of our university and maybe also get in touch with other students. So this is also, of course, about networking. We not only want you to learn the content, but also to get in touch with each other and, of course, also the teaching staff. In the first semester, we'll then teach you some fundamentals, and I'll show you the curriculum in a couple of minutes. And then in the second semester, we'll dive a bit deeper into some specializations. And then connecting the second and the third semester, we have a summer camp of, again, a week. And there's some follow-up online. And in this summer camp, we'll have some classes covering the modules from the second semester, but already also introducing the classes from the third semester. In the third semester, we then move towards leadership and change management topics, not completely, but at least to some degree. So that the idea is you first learn some fundamentals, you learn some innovation capabilities in the second semester, and then we also teach you how you can put these into practice, and you will learn about some accompanying challenges, requirements, and how you can then manage such change processes. The fourth semester is mainly, not completely, but mainly for your thesis. We entitle it research, but it's practice-oriented research. So we usually apply or go and support action research thesis, which means that you look at problems in your work environment, and then you work on these also considering the skills and the methods that we taught you in the previous semester. So that's the overall approach: distance education, a flexible online setting, and I'll show you some screenshots of learning materials which we're using. And of course, there's online conferences. And in addition, we have 2 face-to-face sessions in Soest. If it's absolutely not possible to join for work reasons, health reasons, family reasons, or whatever, it's also possible to join these face-to-face sessions online. So we, of course, can stream our events and have good technical equipment to really make you part of these face-to-face sessions, even if you had to stay at home. But we clearly recommend to come. It's usually fantastic events that students really enjoy. These are the topics behind our curriculum. So the fundamentals semester begins with international management, international economics, management accounting and finance, and an introduction to business informatics. In the second semester, we address topics like business process management, e-business, enterprise resource planning, and corporate entrepreneurship and innovation. All of these have also different characteristics of how they are taught. Like, for example, the entrepreneurship module is like a stage gate process. In e-business, you work on projects, for example, and in business process management, it's about how to use some business model notations, but then business process notations, but then also how to analyze and improve these business processes. In the third semester, you learn about business marketing management and then leadership and change management. But also we'll dive into business intelligence, looking into how we can store and organize data from various sources in data warehouses in our company, and how we can then analyze all these. So this is a very up-to-date topic where we learn about analytics and some machine learning algorithms, for example. And there's also a class on information management, looking at leadership tasks in the IT environment. The fourth semester then completes our curriculum with a class on digital product and project management. And finally, your thesis, which, as I mentioned, is usually in the direction of action research. So you're doing research on a project, on a problem, and a project from your real-world work experience. We specifically designed the curriculum and our mode of teaching so that it complies with your work environment and your work days. So it's, of course, a lot of self-study, but it's not just written materials. We have a lot of multimedia e-learning materials for you. But then in addition, each class has live and face-to-face, at least online face-to-face meetings with your professors, around 6 or 4 to 6 usually per module in semester, so that you always are in touch with the other students and also with the professors, and you can ask about what you've been working on in the self-study phases. I mentioned the on-campus phases, onboarding week and summer camp in Soest. If not possible, it's also allowed to join online, but we try to talk you into joining us in Soest. And it's lectures, invited talks. We also have guests then and events so that we also promote some networking. What is also interesting for you to know is our examination structure. We have no special and very condensed and therefore often overwhelming exam phases. Okay, so it's not that you go through all our classes and then at the end in 2 weeks you write 5 exams. That won't happen in a study program, but instead we have what we call a portfolio examination. So throughout our modules, you'll have smaller examinations like addressing the different parts, where you have to sometimes take knowledge tests, write assignments, record presentations, also, for example, participate in online discussions. What type of e-learning materials do we use? We have a learning management system behind all our classes. So we use Moodle, and it's usually something students get used to very fast, or they even are familiar with these systems from previous studies. This is where we provide all the learning materials, where we also provide all the information about upcoming meetings and assignments. We have one calendar which summarizes all these activities across all classes. And then we have various types of learning materials. Here you see 2 examples. So besides online meetings using Zoom, we create web-based trainings for you that you can use to like self-navigate through the materials. You get videos and graphics, animations. We arrange these as course statements and supplements so that you really have a self-driven learning process. And then in addition, we record a lot of e-lectures for you so that you also see the people teaching you and you get like a nice introduction, also this feeling of participating in lectures like what we have on campus. So this is typical examples for our learning materials. What are the requirements for our study course? So you need a 210 credit bachelor's degree to join us. It's also possible to join us with an 180 credit bachelor's degree. The degree needs to be either in the direction of business or business informatics or any related discipline. And you need at least the German grade good 2.5 or the relative ECTS grade A or B. In addition, we have this work requirement, professional expertise requirement of 12 months. So it must be a qualified practical experience in the context of business or business informatics. And we have language requirements listed here, except for students from German institutions. So have the entrance qualification from a German institution, then you have that automatically, basically. In case you are from a 180 degree credit bachelor's degree program, then you will get some additional class requirements. Or if you've been working for at least 18 months, then you can also use these additional 6 months as proof for relevant qualified practical experience, which will then be considered. So these are the requirements, which are of course also listed on my German university page and on our university page. As I mentioned at the beginning, there's 2 different lines of how to apply for our study program. If you are a non-EU international student, then you need to apply through UniAssist. You can see the application period here, and I think the link is available to you. So they will do a little pre-check and then forward your application to us. If you are an EU student or a student from our programs or a German university, then you need to apply it directly through our university page. The main difference is that here you can only start applying much later. Okay, so we know that the international students going through UniAssist, they might have some other hurdles to take, and therefore this window opens much earlier as the one for EU students and also national students. In any case, if you're interested in studying with us, if you have any questions, please don't wait that long, get in touch with us. And we'll be very happy to guide you all through, also through this application process. So what does it mean to be an I'm a student with us? It means that, of course, you learn about the content from these disciplines of management and IT. So in today's world, this means that you will learn about major challenges that your companies face. So it's and this will help you to systematically improve your personal career opportunities. We know from our graduates that they use this program and their new degree to really make some steps in their career. And of course, at the same time, we will help your employer to tackle some of the challenges they currently face. I think you are aware that companies need skilled people in these directions, and they will be very happy to see if you are taking such a degree and really learning about some of the current methods, techniques, technologies, and challenges. At the same time, going through such a program, which is of course a struggle. I mean, you work and you have your personal life, and then at the same time, you now study and have to go through a lot of examinations and lectures. But this is exactly what I think our society and companies need nowadays. So you will develop your own personality. You will get used to lifelong learning and really have a good understanding of what that means. And you will for sure also, when going through this program, develop your open-mindedness towards change and new developments. Okay, it's not that you learn something, then for the next 10, 20 years, you can apply what you have learned. That's really not the situation anymore. So we need to be open and willing to accept change. And it's a fight combining all these frontiers. And therefore, of course, we will also shape your character. We have a modern, flexible, and very intercultural environment. So you will meet a lot of international students, and it's modern learning materials. It's designed in a very flexible manner, and therefore, hopefully, you will really enjoy it. On the right, you see one example of a graduate that we had, a student from the US who came to Germany, worked for a large company, and then wanted to develop herself into a different direction. And that's exactly what she did. So it really helped her shape her career. And it would be a great pleasure to also welcome you at our university and help you shape your career. I would still totally understand if you say it's maybe a bit much to expect that we directly enroll for such a program. Maybe you want to get to know our program first, then you have an opportunity to do so. If you visit our site, then you will see that there's also a certificate program that we offer. So in case you want to try out one of these modules, then you can register for only one of the modules, and you then pay only for this module. You get to know the content, you get to know the environment, you get to know the professors. And if you later decide to then join the program, then you, of course, will be able to transfer the credits to this program. All right, so much for this little overview on our program. I hope I stayed within the time, and I'll be very happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much, Professor Weber, for the very nice presentation, all the details. I see a few questions already in chat or in Q&A box, which means the interest also comes from the applicants or attendees as well. Thank you very much for this. Dear attendees, I also shared, as Professor was mentioning, the pages, also info email to Jennifer Beckman. Everything is in chat. And in case you want to know more about UniAssist, feel free to check out the article or wait for our next UniAssist webinar, which will take place in June, I guess. All right, now we have a part-time university and 2 study programs. But first, I think it will be Professor Dr. Thomas Schuster, who will talk about bachelor level study course in business administration, digital business management. again, map and the overview of the study course. Because it's a bachelor program, I will expect some 𝘗𝘢𝘕𝘳𝘵𝘀 questions, I guess, and therefore I will already now will post some information about that in case you come up with questions. Professor, then the virtual mic is yours.
Okay. Hope you can see my screen. Thanks for joining us today. I'm really glad to introduce you to our program. My presentation basically is split into three parts. So first of all, a little bit about where to find us, where are we, who are we, and then in the second part, what to find at Pforzheim University for this specific program, digital business management on the bachelor level, which, as mentioned, will be concluded by my dear colleague Mario Boslau, introducing you to the master's level. So there's a consecutive opportunity if you want. And in the third part, I'd introduce you a little bit to what to expect in our environment. So a couple of minor administrative questions, and then, of course, also some initiatives where you can find help or where you can engage yourselves during studies. So about our location, you've seen that on the map already. I'd like to add some more detail. I guess Germany at the center of Europe has a population of 83 million people. We are located in Baden-Württemberg, so that's the state in the southwest and has 11 million people, inhabitants. And if you take a closer look to Pforzheim, I would say we are somewhat at the center, if you want. Probably interesting to you, since this is not an online studies, but an on-site studies program. It's also the question that we are quite close to a couple of airports. So the nearest probably is Stuttgart, but also Frankfurt is really good to reach because of train connection. Next question, of course, is what is the city of Pforzheim? Maybe you have heard about Pforzheim, maybe you haven't heard about it yet. So we would call it the Golden City. That's because of its history. And it's also the gateway to the beautiful Black Forest that you saw on my introductory slide, and you maybe also see in my background. The city itself is about 120,000 people, and the county like 200,000 living around. The city is quite modern architecture because there was a large destruction during the war. From the industry, which is also, I guess, interesting to you as students, there is a lot of jewelry manufacturing located directly in the city, and there's a lot of automotive industry around. And we also have a lot of companies we call hidden champions, because they may be world market leaders in some segment, but you may not have heard about them, like Blank & Fischer, for instance. For our university, a little bit about our history and a little bit about the developments in recent years before I dive into our program. So it's for a University of Applied Sciences, which is always teaching a little bit more application-oriented programs. We are quite old, so our foundation is back in the 19th century, but the major developments, looking at the school, how it looks like today, have been introduced in the last 50 years probably, and major developments also in the last 20 years. So from today's perspective, there is 3 faculties. There's the Faculty of Design, Engineering, and then Business and Law. Our program is located at the Faculty of Business and Law, and there I can also agree with the presentation from before. So it's information systems. We are a little bit emphasizing the business part in it rather than the computer science part. At our university, there's 27 other bachelor's programs and 19 master's programs. The university itself has a strong research and industry focus. So there's a lot of institutes doing research projects and transfer projects, working with industry. That may be interesting to you as students once you're searching for a student job or an internship. And yeah, in our program, we are also involved in one of these research institutes. That would be the second that you can see on this slide here. That's the Institute of Smart Systems and Services. Also important maybe for the business school in general, we are accredited in 2 different accreditation organizations. One is the Association of to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business, that is AACSB, and the other one is European Foundation for Management and Development, EFMD. So why would that be important to students? So there's maybe a couple of reasons for. One, of course, is we are highly recognized because of that. And we are one of, not so many universities of applied sciences that have these accreditations. So it's kind of like a qualitative statement for us and then for you as possible graduates. The other thing is, because of that, we have strong bonds to a lot of different organizations around the world. So we do have roughly 200 partner universities. For German applicants, I always emphasize that towards the opportunity to have an international semester abroad. So for you as students or applicants from abroad, that may be the opportunity to have 1 semester at home. So that's really something I observe for our program, which now is roughly 8 years old. A lot of our international students then join back and have 1 semester at home. Yeah, so there's 200 partner universities where you can choose from to have this semester, but maybe also somewhere else if you're interested, of course. Now, in our university, there's a couple of international programs, 3 at the undergraduate level and 3 at the graduate level are currently taught in English only. You can see them on this slide. As mentioned, I will be introducing you to digital business management. And following me, you will hear details about the digital business management program at graduate, so at master's level. So what is the things that you can expect if you join us? and study the bachelor's degree, Digital Business Management. I like to introduce that by looking at the program's goals. So what is the learning goals that we expect you to achieve once you proceed through our studies? I recognize, okay, I like to skip this animation, so sorry for it. So there's 6 common goals. It's achieving expert knowledge in theories and in their practical application in general. Of course, the ability to work with information technology, since it's all around us. We are even using it now for coming together. Then, of course, critical thinking, so not only using technology, but also thinking about its implications and being also aware of ethical impacts. Then, of course, oral and written communication skills, especially if you're looking at business world later and your possible jobs. That's a really important goal, since also many of our students later work in consulting or project management business. So that seems to be an important part. Capacity for teamwork, of course, is affiliated to that. Our main goal here is ability to design, optimize, and implement digital business processes or digital business innovation. So, as mentioned, many of our students later work in consulting, and here you can find a couple of areas of expertise where our students end up later. So a lot is about business process design, optimization, analysis. Recently, we have a strong emphasis also of data analytics. That's also reflected in our program. So data literacy is something that is really important, also equipped with lectures about artificial intelligence. One thing at the bottom here is important: conducting business in Germany. So associated to our program is the goal that you also learn German. It's not directly integrated in our program in terms of classes, but you have opportunities to take classes at our university. And that basically brings me to taking a look at the details of our program. So what does the structure look like? It's a 7-semester program. We do have a mandatory internship that is in semester 5. At the end, you will have reached 210 credits. For the entry, it is important, you need to have English level B2. That is a requirement. And at the end of your studies, you should have achieved at least German at the level B1. So example of courses, you can see them here. I have more details on the following slide, but just to give you a brief impression. So there is some more management-oriented and business-oriented lectures. And then there's more computer science-oriented lectures. And then there's this mixture of both, like if you take a look at digital service innovation or digital business management lectures that we provide. So how does the program look at a glance? This is the structure. So what you can see here is the overview of the 7 semesters in this orange or yellow color. That is the more specific lectures, and in gray you find more general management lectures as well as mathematics. So you can see that also the more specific lectures increase during the studies. Okay. A couple of things probably to mention here is, for instance, we do have in the 4th and in the 6th semester, there you can see 2 large blocks that's called electives 1 and 2. Our electives are also divided into 2 profiles. The 2 profiles are called management skills, that's profile 1, and process engineering and data analytics skill, or profile 2, that's the second part. And you need to take lectures from both parts. So that basically contributes to strengthen your job profiles according to European qualification framework. And you can put a focus a little bit more on the engineering part or a little bit more on the management part. That's up to you, but you need to take electives from both parts. Also, the semester abroad or at home, however you like, that's typically semester 6. There may be opportunities to switch that, but if you want to have not too many difficulties, I would switch. I would not do that. I would not recommend that. Okay, yeah, well, that's the program at a glance. Of course, I'd be happy to answer more questions in detail if you want. But that would be it. As said before, I would say anything today is data, anything today is a service, and anything of that also is digital. So you study it, you own it, you manage it. That's the goal of our program. And as said, a lot of our students end up in companies, yeah, maybe also around, maybe companies that are also global. A lot are today working in automotive industries and in consulting businesses, as well as on the management level, as well as on the IT level. So we do have strong ties to AWS, Microsoft, but also on more management-oriented companies like EY, KPMG, or maybe a little bit in the middle, SAP. Before introducing you to the initiatives, just a quick view on our team. And I do that rather quick because you also have the opportunity to receive my slides later. But we do have 3 research assistants working for this program specifically. That is Andreas Schneider, Erik Petsch, and Lukas Weidelich. And once you want to have or questions answered in advance, you may also reach out to our program assistant. That's Ms. Heffler. And there's currently 2 professors specifically working for this program. A third one will join us once you may join us in winter term. So what else is around and what is important? So for the application process, it's somewhat close, but I guess there's a little bit difference in the application deadlines. So for this program, I'm introducing here, the application deadline is 15th of July for the winter term. And before you ask, we only start in winter term. So there's no possibility to start in summer term for this program. For other programs at Pforzheim University, it may be possible, but not for this program. Our selection criteria, and you also find that on our web page, and of course in my German university as well. It's the average grade of university entrance. Then we also take into account your math grades and your English grades, as well as the qualification for level B2. Cost of enrollment. There is a tuition fee of 1,500 per term for non-EU students, except if you're graduates from 𝘗𝘢𝘪𝘳𝘵 DAS. That is regulated by the state of Baden-Württemberg. So for more details, you can use the link here on the slide later. Besides that, we have a student service fee that includes operation of our cafeterias and also free public transport. So if you are around here, you can also have access to free public transport. Something that may be interesting because it's an on-site program, housing. We do have a quite good housing situations here, so it's not that difficult to get a room. And it's also quite cheap. Looking at the time, I'd rather skip the next slides and would introduce you to the last thing here, which is student initiatives. So there's a lot of initiatives where our students work for and with, or where they can get help from. And I would like to simply point you to two things before I conclude my presentation. The one is Future Lab. So that may be interesting to you if you are looking for current information, news about our program and about our research projects and about our current events and company affiliations. So feel free to take a look at the webpage for Future Lab, and maybe also, if you want, follow us on Instagram. So that's the channel for our program and two other programs that won't be presented today. So again, thanks for listening. And of course, I'm happy to answer any questions later. Thanks.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much for the presentation. All the details. I will also put the links to the Instagram and other channels now in chat, while the other speaker will be sharing the consecutive program as I understood. So once you join this bachelor's, then you can also extend your studies in part-time, because I'm sure you will like the local university professors, etc. And with this, I would like to then give the floor to our third and last speaker for today. This is Professor Dr. Mario Boslau, who will talk about master's program in digital business management. So here we go.
Okay, thank you very much. Then I will share my slides. I hope you can see it.
Yeah,
okay,
everything
great.
works.
Perfect. So yeah, welcome to our presentation on our new master's program. So this is a new consecutive program, and in the next couple of minutes, I will focus here more on the contents, because Thomas already presented the university and the details and the location. So I can focus here on more on the contents. Let's start with the goal. We want to prepare you for managerial and expert roles in a digital and global context. So as we mentioned, this is a consecutive program on the master's level. So that's why we have the focus here on managerial and also expert roles based on the bachelor's program, and then we move on to the master's. So our program offers an interdisciplinary approach and also a practice-oriented approach in digital business management. We are focusing here on application. We are an applied university, or University of Applied Sciences. You'll benefit also in the master's program from small learning groups and individual support from your professors and the faculty. There is the option to spend a semester abroad at a partner university, but as Thomas already mentioned, some students also use it to go to their home country. but you have the possibility to study at a partner university. We have a flexible curriculum, so we feature some elective in the third semester, for example, in data science, artificial intelligence, big data analytics. I will tell you about this in a couple of seconds. Our full-time study program spans 3 semesters, including a master's thesis, summing up to 90 ECTS in total. You will earn a Master of Science degree, and classes are taught in English, of course. The program's focus is on digital transformation in general, and we have a variety of modules like digital management, digital business models, change management, and so on. I will show you the curriculum later. Skill development is also very important, so you can enhance your skills in project management, for example, but also in leadership training. Then we have also a research focus, especially relevant for master's programs. Of course, you will engage with current digital trends through research-related or focused learning. And as I said, we are in the University of Applied Sciences, so our program is also application-oriented. We feature, for example, practical projects with companies in one module. There we have real use cases from the industry where you will work on, and also get feedback from our industrial partners. Additionally, we also offer a broad selection of electives which are also application-oriented. And we have also, of course, partner universities, so there's always the possibility to go abroad, which may be also interesting for those joining us from Germany. So let's look at some of our key objectives we have set ourselves in developing the program. First of all, we wanted to focus on an advanced training in digital business management, so you'll gain a deep understanding on digital transformation projects. Also, we have a strong focus on strategic leadership skills. So here you'll learn how to develop, for example, innovative digital business models and also products. And what's also important for us, we want to emphasize the cultivation of agility and the digital mindset. So you will undergo intensive training in agile project management, for example, and also modern leadership techniques. And finally, you will also have some practical application. I mentioned the practical projects we have. Also, the possibility of international networking is because we have various students from all over the world. So this is also one key objective. So what are your advantages of pursuing a master's degree in digital business management at our institution? First of all, as I already mentioned, we offer an interdisciplinary and also comprehensive education in this field. So this is a very generic program. Then we have a close integration of theory and practice. So as I mentioned, we have these company projects. Our program also values small groups and the personal culture. So you really have personalized attention and support from faculty and professors. What you also can do here is to develop your profile early on. So we have some special electives at the end of our program, and you can really specialize in these specific fields. And at the end, you also have a globally recognized degree from a recognized university in Germany. Thomas mentioned the AACSB accreditation and much more. So this is really a great university to start with your master program. Yeah, and the international focus, I already mentioned it, is also very important for us. Let's discuss some possible career paths you can pursue after completing the master's program. First of all, there are some managerial roles possible, like digital project manager, for example, or chief digital officer in the company. So if you want to be more on the strategic level. On the other hand, there are also some expert roles like data scientist and business model designer. just to give you an idea of what's possible here. As I mentioned, this is a 3-semester program. Here you see the course contents and modules in an overview. We have 90 ECTS, and I just want to show you give you some ideas about the contents here. We start with the digital management module, where you learn the fundamentals of IT systems, digital platforms, and service management. Then we have the modern sustainable leadership module. Here we focus on change management, sustainability, and also intercultural competencies. When you look at our requirements, you will also see that we have a strong focus on quantitative aspects and research methods. So there are some modules like this one, which focuses on these aspects: research methods, algorithms, and data structures. So here you deepen your understanding of research design, along with qualitative and also quantitative methods. Then we have data analytics with R. Here you'll enhance your analytical skills by learning the programming language R, and you can apply it to real-world data analysis. Also, in the era of digitalization and also artificial intelligence, the topic of ethics and law is becoming more and more important. So we included this module in this new program. Here in this ethics and law digital business module, you'll tackle the ethical and legal challenges that are prevalent in digital projects today. Then we have a specific module on the development of digital business models and products. So here you can create innovative digital business solutions, and we also include here some aspects of artificial intelligence and data science tools. As I already have mentioned, then we have a 10-credit module on a business project. The business project in digital business management is a practical module where you apply your knowledge to real issues in collaboration with corporate partners, and you also get feedback from them. So this is, I think, a pretty unique approach in Germany, that you really work with an industrial partner. The Agile project and process management module will familiarize you with modern project management techniques and also corresponding tools. Then we have a variety of electives. So if you're interested in this, I recommend looking into the module handbook, and there we have courses like data science with Python, big data analytics, also supply chain simulations, and more. For example, dive-in technologies. So these are interesting electives to sharpen your profile at the end. And finally, we have the final thesis with 21 credits in total. So here I can say students are encouraged also to write this thesis in cooperation with a company or a consultancy. And if you remember the slides from my colleague, we have a lot of companies in the area around Pforzheim. So this is always a good chance to have this practical experience. Additionally, we have international aspects, international elements, like, for example, guest lecturers, intercultural skill training. And you'll join at the end also an international student group. So you will learn about diverse cultural and professional backgrounds and interact with your fellow students. So just to sum up some options, we have study abroad options, of course, I mentioned it. You can also integrate some internships. So you can do it during semester breaks or as part of a semester leave. So in this way, you can also gain practical experience here in Germany in our industry. As I already said, we encourage you then to also collaborate with companies when you write your final thesis. And we also have a support system like alumni network, mentoring program, and much more. So let's talk about tuition fees at the end and living costs. As we already have heard, there is, for non-EU students, there's tuition fee of 1,500 euros. If you're pursuing a second degree, then we have a 650 euro fee per semester. Then there's a semester contribution of about 200 euros, which includes a transport ticket, a public transportation ticket, so you can get around easily here in this area. Living costs, depending on your lifestyle, are about, this is an estimation, 750 euros. So do have a feeling about this. To be eligible for this program, you must have a bachelor's or diploma degree in the field of business administration, economics, or similar, and you should have at least 180 ECTS credits and a grade of good or better. In addition, there are specific course requirements. You need 10 ECTS in quantitative methods, which includes 5 ECTS in statistics, and also you need 5 ECTS in business information systems. For language proficiency, you must demonstrate English at B2 level, or as an alternative, you can also prove that you have completed an academic degree which was taught entirely in English. If you find you're missing the necessary ECTS in statistics, we offer an optional course for you, which is called Stat Upgrade. So here you can qualify for admission into our master's program. This is an optional course. This is important. So it covers statistical concepts like data fundamentals, for example, measurement, central tendencies, probability, and so on. It's tailored to develop the critical skills needed for our program. So the examination for this course is conducted online with screen sharing. So in this way, we can assess then your results, and then you will earn 5 ECTS at the end upon passing this examination. The next examination is scheduled for June 1st, 2024, 11 a.m. for 45 minutes. And if you're interested in this, you can also visit our website where you can register for this optional course if you need it. Some dates that are relevant: we already opened the application system end of April. The deadline for submitting your written application is June 15th, so make sure to complete your application by this date to be considered for the upcoming semester. After that, we will have some interviews, online interviews, which will be scheduled individually. And then we hope that we can, that you can begin the program in late September or October 2024. So thanks for joining this presentation. Here you will see once again our email address and also our webpage. And I think we can answer now your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Yes, indeed. Let's then jump into the Q&A part. I noted at least 2 questions per speaker. And then, let's see how it goes. Probably we also get some more questions during the Q&A session. All right, let me start with Professor Dr. Weber. There was a question that came actually before the webinar because students can also send us questions there. And as I see, you answered all the questions which were in Q&A box, so I also wanted to highlight those questions as well. The question was about the payment, and it says 2,200. The payment is per semester and plus a semester contribution. And also, does it mean that the exams are take-home exams or they are in online mode? So it's kind of combination of 2.
Okay, so yes, we have a semester fee, it's true. And I understand that if you, for example, don't want to go for all modules per semester, then this might sound a bit difficult because it will prolong your studies and you'll have to pay more fees, but it is semester fees, that's true. Okay, so the other question about the exams, we have portfolio examinations, which means they consist of several components, smaller components, and they vary in nature. So for example, it's going to be an online quiz during a live session, a synchronous session. Then there will be some written assignments that you take home, for example. So you all receive these instructions online, and then you need to provide the solution on the learning management system. Sometimes it's a live meeting where students have to present something, or they have to record a presentation up front, and we show you the tools that you can use for that. So it always varies. There is deadlines, but we make sure that you never have like several requirements and assignments from different modules at the same time. And in case there is problems because of your work schedule or whatever, then students can approach us early on, as early as possible, and we usually find solutions. So we never lower the bar. You always have to go through all parts of the explanation, but we are aware that these are people on the job, and then usually we find ways of negotiating the deadlines or extending the deadlines with the group.
Okay, great, thank you. Maybe one more question for you is about the work experience. I also saw there came one question just to clarify the length, and you mentioned it should be 1 year. But before that, we had a question. Work experience should also be submitted with the letter of recommendation or job description from the employer, and can it be from like collection of 12 months from different organizations?
Yeah, that's absolutely
If they
fine.
had-
So if you have a 210 credits bachelor's degree, then we require 12 months of qualified work experience, but it must not be with one employer. So it's totally
Yeah.
fine if it's also different companies, but we of course need some sort of proof. So usually this is certificates from the employer that you submit. If you only come with a 180-degree program, then what most students do is they submit proof of 18 months of work experience. And this will save them from receiving additional requirements to make up for the missing 30 credits.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. And also thank you for answering the questions in written.
Sure.
Now let's go to the bachelor's program, and Professor Dr. Thomas Schuster. One question, I think you already answered it, but I cannot see it somehow in the Q&A. It was about doing a second bachelor. If you are aware, is it technically possible to do a second bachelor? And maybe also this could, another question frequently asked is there any age limit to do a bachelor? Because sometimes people try to start something new or learn something new.
Maybe I start with the age limit. So there's no official age limit. And I can even tell you that recently someone beyond the age of 60 joined our program and seems to successfully work on it. So no age limit. And for the first question, yes, technically that's possible. There may be some restrictions to it. So if it's the exact same program, or if you failed in the exact same program, that may prevent you from joining us. But for the formal questions, I would rather redirect to our study centers. They can do a check on that. And for the specific question, it was IT, so like computer, I guess computer science or something. And since we are like the edge discipline between IT and management, that shouldn't be a problem. But for formal check, contact student services, please.
Thank you very much. And the second question is also more bureaucratic one, because your study course has direct application, which means you don't use UniAssist or other auxiliaries. And then you mentioned that the grade of math and some also English, if I correctly remember, is important. The question was, do you need a separate clarification of math content in high school? And also, should the grade be only from the last class or from the high school, like 10th, 11th, 12th?
Okay, so for the entrance qualification, it's basically last not necessarily last class, but your high school certificate. And I know that there's some formal mapping to German grades, but that's also done from administration. And you don't need an specific extra certificate for math. So they just extract that information from your high school information.
Okay, great. And I guess, dear attendee, if you are here, I don't know who sent this question. Yeah, you can always get in touch with administration staff as well, and I'm sure they will help you, because I also had a similar thing. I had to provide high school grades, but for scholarship, and then they told me what exactly was needed.
Yeah, and I just also posted the contact details for our student services, so they are very happy to help you out with any questions regarding that as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. And now to Professor. Yeah, here for the master's program. So one question I think you already answered, but
Yeah,
I promised to also voice it for the attendee. So for data analytics with R, is there any opportunity to take R courses separately? And second was 90 ECTS means that you don't accept 180 ECTS bachelors.
Maybe I start with this second question. So as I mentioned, to be eligible for this program, you must have a bachelor's degree with 180 ECTS in the field of business administration or economics. So 90 ECTS is related to the master's program in total, to the workload. So the second question for data analytics with R, if I understand this correctly, so we will teach you the fundamentals of this programming language. And of course, you are free to also attend to further courses. This question I would have to double check with the colleague who is teaching this course. But I hope this answers your question so far.
Mm-hmm. And one more question that also came earlier is about the motivation letter. Do you have any specific requirements like lengths, or what should be mentioned there? Like, yeah, usually we say don't copy your CV, but you have better answer, I guess, now.
So I would say it's important to see really your motivation, why you want to study our program. I think I showed in this presentation what are our objectives and also the career paths that are possible. And maybe you can show us with this regard how you see yourself in this field of digital business management.
Yeah, and don't copy your CV because they will already see it from the file. Okay, now I should confess that I promised to Professor not to go over time, which I did with 3 minutes now. And I want to apologize for this. And then thank you everybody for having time to join. And thank you, dear attendees, for your interest.